Hi friends, let's get back to our tutorial. So this is the extension to your tutorials which we have saw about your radio.net. Okay, so today we are going to see how to apply the columns. Means at the design time, I used to make the columns in your data grid at the design time, but now we are going to create all this in your code. Okay, means the column will be added in to your data grid view from the code itself. Okay, let's see how we can do all these things. Let's create a new project. Okay, or better way, let's continue with your project only. Let's add an Windows form. Here we will be taking your button just for an click event and data grid view. Now on the button click, what should happen? This data grid should get the values from your actual database. Okay, so we'll be using your first thing what we have to use, it's your you have to import your system.data.sql client. Now after importing your SQL client, now you are ready to have your SQL connection. So let's create an object of your SQL connection class. Okay, we have already copied the string here, so we know what was this connection string. And then we'll be saying I need your data adapter. Okay, for I can say I just want to fire an query, and this query will be fired using a data adapter. And after firing the query from the data adapter, we'll be filling in a data set. Okay, so we'll be again working with your data adapter and data set. So let's use a data adapter. And first thing will be the query which we want to execute. Select star from employee, and which connection I want to use, that is your con. Okay, so the SQL data adapter is ready. So what we are going to do, we are going to execute the query using SQL data adapter, and we are just going to fill your data set. For filling the data set, I have to declare it first. So let's use the data set. Okay, so the data set will not work with your new keyword. Okay, now let's populate your grid. Okay, means let's add some column in your grid. So we'll be adding some columns to your grid. So how to add the columns to your grid? Let's work with your grid view. Oops, this data grid view. Data grid view dot columns dot add. Okay, so we are going to add some columns, and that columns will be having some column name and header text. So that column name, uh, by which we are going to assign the values to it, means if the column name is A, so I'll be assigning the values to the column A. Okay, so that thing is this is the column name as a string. Okay, so this will be the actual name by which I'll be calling that column. So that will be your roll number. Okay, then I can see a roll number. It's not roll number, it's a employee EMP number. And here I'll be writing the text which will be shown on the form, or I can say grid view. Okay, the column name will be shown to your column name will be, or I can say column header will be shown to the user. So that will be a employee, I can say employees ID. Okay, so this is the first column. So you have added it. So if you don't want to use this grid view columns dot add this again and again, you can use this with the with keyword, with this columns. Then let's use that user end with. Okay, then just for saving some lines and a code. So this next column will be having some name called as name, and here it will be employee name. Okay, this second column, this second parameter is just for showing the header. Let me explain you while running on runtime. Name, and here is your surname. Okay, this is your S name. Let's execute it. Oops, sorry. Okay, this is your header text, or can say the text header which is applied to your grid view. Okay, even you can also set the size for your headers, means the columns. Okay, so if you want to add some uh, width to your column, you can also add the width to your columns. Okay, so dot, I can say width is, so let it be. We'll work with the width later. So this is how we can allocate the grid view, the columns to your grid view. If you want to add some more columns, you can just have to write add and the name of your column, which will be called by the parameter, which can be called by its name, and this is the only the name which has to be shown to the users. Okay, so the first thing, let's work with your data adapter. Data adapter, I'm saying data adapter to fill your data set. I'm saying fill your data set, and the temporary table which you are going to make is, let's give some name called as temp again. Okay, so that will be the temp, and is never assigned to the value, null exception at the runtime. Things, yeah, this new data set, and then okay, so da dot fill ds, then temp, the temp is nothing but the temporary table where the all the data will be stored inside your temp table. Now we have this temp table. Now I'm just going to fill this data set, or I can say the rows of the data set inside your I can say grid view. Okay, so how to add those things into the grid view? So first, see, let's work on it. I'll be using a for loop for I as integer is equals to, it should be 0 to something where I should get the last length of, or can the last count of the columns, or I can say I should get the count of the rows. So I'll be saying ds has everything, ds dot tables, and which table I want to read, which we have created called as temp, and I just want to count the rows. So I'll be writing rows dot count. Oh, it's count, and then I'll be saying it will be giving the count from I can say it is an appropriate count, but our indexing starts from 0 to the uh, maximum value. I can say indexing starts from 0 and your count starts from 1. So I'll be saying the count should minus 1. Okay. Now whatever these things are there, this row will be this pointer will be incremented from 1 to the row count minus 1. Okay, so what is this going to do? Let's see. Before executing these things, I'll be showing you what is this line is going to do. ds.tables.employees row count, it is going to me show the output which is 7. Okay, but we don't have a 7 rows here. We actually we have the 7 rows, but if I say the for your uh, initializing the pointer and going to the last row, it should go from 0 to 7. It means it will be counting 8. Okay, it's not proper, so I'll be saying it minus 1, so it will run from 0 to 0 to 6, means it is 7 again. Okay, so I think you're through with it. Now let's see, let's add some columns here in your data grid. So we have already added the columns, the only thing I have to add the rows. Okay, so first thing I'll be retrieving the rows, like I'll be taking something inside row, that's why I'll be taking dr, which is called as data row. But before taking dr, we have to declare this dr, data row, and then I'll be saying data row is equals to ds dot tables, what is the table name called as temp dot row. Which row? I just want ith row, and I just whatever the row is there, I just want to fill it in your dr. Okay, after filling it everything into the dr, now let's fill that row in your data grid. So for filling the rows in your data grid, first you want to add a row, data grid view 1 dot rows dot add. So the one row will be added. Now I just want to add the values inside the row. Okay, so there is a row which we have created. Now we have to work with this row and this row cells. Okay, means the rows are, the tuple is created by some cells. Okay, so I just want to add this value to the cell. So how to do it? I'll be again we using a with keyword with data grid view 1 dot rows. I can say data grid view 1 dot rows, and which row I want to edit. I just want to edit the row which I have just created, which is the ith row, which is 0th row, because I'll be adding the 0th row first. Then I just want to do what? So I'll be saying on the 0th row I want to add a cell. Okay, the cell. So what is the cell? So each and every cell is having the name, emp name is the cell one. Okay, so I'll be saying directly the name. I can say fill the name. Okay, so fill the name with what? I can say dot values. That value will be taken from your dr, and dr I'll be saying what what is the name of the column, or I can say the integer of that. So I'll be saying the name of the column is not been fixed, or I can say I don't remember the name of the column. I'll be writing that index 0, means it will be the first column. Okay, so let's again write dot cell. Then I'll be saying what is the next name is emp name. See, I'm not giving the sequence. I'm not saying this name, or I can say e name first and name. See, I'm just calling them by their direct names. Okay, so there is no necessity of directly calling in a sequence. Okay, you can call anyhow. And then I'll be saying dot value should be dr, and it should be 1. Okay, and then let's dot cells dot which. So I'll be saying s name dot value dot dr 2. Okay, means we have added all these things to your data grid. So let's see, does it works? Yeah, it works fine. Even this employee name should have this, I can say, uh, first thing, this employee id. Oh, this first row, the name, let's say, what was the problem with it? I said the name should be inside your means the first column should be filled with your the second column should be filled with your zeroth column. Means what? The first column is for your name. I can say this is for employee ID. Okay, and I'm saying I just want to enter the name. Okay, means I want to fill the employee name, which is the employee name column. I can say it like this: this column, this cell is for your this column. Okay, so this column cell, so I'm be saying the zeroth index, I'm assigning the value of zeroth index, which is having the employee number. Okay, that will be stored in your name. Okay, so this was an error, not an error actually, it was an small bug, so I'll be fixing it. So the value of first will be sent to your name, and value of zeroth column will be sent to your again zeroth column, which is having the name employee number. Okay, so again we saw that sequence is not necessary, but even here for dr it can go up, forward and backward in your row, so there is no necessity of I can say writing it in a sequence. So see, you saw this name went into the name, then employee name went to the employee number, went to the employee number, and S name went to the S directly uh, to the surname. Okay, so this was it. I hope you enjoyed it, and at least some of the knowledge might be new for you. Okay, bye bye. Thanks a lot.